Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I help you build an impactful online business. In today's video, we are actually doing a free Etsy critique. This is one of the many free critiques I do every single month. So you might be an actual winner today. So make sure that you watch this video all the way to the end to see if you are the lucky winner. Now, if this is your first time visiting my YouTube channel, consider subscribing today. I do upload weekly videos to help you build an impactful Etsy business. And don't forget to grab this free Etsy SEO guide that will help you get started the right way by optimizing your store and listings for SEO. You will find the link right below the video. So let's head over to my computer to see who is today's lucky Etsy critique winner. So here we are, and today's lucky Etsy shop critique is the store called Dean's Creative Studio by Deanie. So congratulations. Guys, make sure they leave valuable feedback in the comments below. So if you have feedback for anything that maybe I didn't mention or maybe something that you know that will definitely help the seller, make sure to leave comments below. We really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get started on the critique. The listing that I'm doing an audit on is this one right here. So the first thing I always talk about is product photography. When you sell on an e-commerce platform like Etsy, or whether you have your own website, whether you go to Shopify, whether you go to Amazon, product photography is very important when you sell on online. The customer can't actually see the product, so all they have to go by is your photo. And first impressions are everything. Your main photo should be cropped in a complimentary way. It should showcase the product, and there should be no confusion. In this picture here, the first thing that I noticed is that the verbatim is getting cut off. You don't want that, because keep in mind, when this is shown to people in the search feed, these are your competitors here, essentially. So what makes somebody want to click your picture versus your competitor? What makes your product better, right? You could have an amazing product, but a bad photo could cost you a sale. In 2018, Etsy did a survey, and they surveyed their buyers, and 90% of them said the reason why they purchased from Etsy or from that Etsy store was strictly because of the photo. It had nothing to do with reviews, with free shipping, with the listing description. Yes, those things could help, but it was strictly because of the photo. So product presentation is a must. Like I said, you could have an amazing product, but a really bad photo, and you won't get the sale. So the first thing that I would suggest is to update your photos, making sure that, one, all of the verbatim is within the box. That way, when it's shown like this, people can actually see exactly what's in the actual main photo. I think you did a good job for having additional images. What I would do is have more images of different examples of maybe custom logos that you have designed. In addition to that, maybe have a picture of you. If you don't have that many, maybe you're just starting out, maybe have a picture of you drawing a design. You can also have a picture of you working, like you behind scenes in your computer creating the design. Maybe have another picture where you showcase what you exactly get included. Do you send, how you have here, do you send like a PDF, a PNG file? Can the colors change, etc.? Having that image like that. One thing that I noticed your store doesn't have at the current moment is that you don't have an email list, and you're offering a discount of 15% off for the next 2 weeks, which is great. However, what you want to make sure that you do is instead of just offering a discount automatically, you should offer a discount with an exchange of an email. It's really important. Email marketing is really important for your business. It will help you get repeated customers month after month. It will help you build your brand. It will help you also in the future. If you were to do Facebook ads, you could do remarketing campaigns. You could create lookalike audiences and tell Facebook, hey, I want to create an audience similar to this audience. And then you could promote your products to new people that will buy from you. So you definitely want to invest your time in email marketing. I will leave a link to my referral for your email marketing. It's something that you need to do as soon as possible. Every business need email marketing. There's no excuse for it nowadays, because you know that that's how you're going to be able to reach to people, especially now with the pandemic. There's no craft shows, there's no live events. So all you have to rely is online. So online marketing, which could be one of them is email marketing. The next methods are like social media, etc. So having a picture saying, grab 15% off on your first purchase, join my email list. You could offer something of free, especially because you actually do design stuff. So you could offer something of value, or you could just simply say, join my email list for the latest updates on new products and services in my store. Whatever you want, as long as you're providing something of value, and having the image here. And then once you start your email marketing, you could actually promote your email in your shop announcement. You could promote it in your About Me story. You could promote it outside of Etsy, like your social media, website, etc. The next thing that I recommend is making sure that your store looks complete, meaning you have a picture of yourself. You shouldn't have your logo twice. I mean, it's great that you have a logo, but having your picture here, making sure that your About Me story is a little bit longer, more personal. Because keep in mind, when people buy from Etsy, the reason why they buy from Etsy is because they're getting something custom made, something different, and people want to connect when they buy from Etsy. And some people do read your About Me story. I'm not saying every single person is going to read it, but majority of people do. And keep in mind also that having your About Me story, if somebody discovers you from BuzzFeed or from a magazine and they want to write a story about your store, they want to include you in the list, having your About Me story, having your email contact in there so people could reach out to you and find you easily to ask you for permission to feature you in their latest article, right? Let's say, is really important for your business. So definitely take it a little bit more serious in the sense that you're writing a story about how you got started, why you're so passionate, why you created an Etsy store, and for whatever your passions are, right? So if you're doing it for yourself as well as to provide financial freedom for your family, that's a story. Make sure that you include that in your About Me story. And the next thing I want to talk about, once you create your profile picture, you have your About Me story, you have better quality photos, is taking a closer look at your SEO. You're not optimizing your listings for SEO. So you want to make sure that whatever main keyword you have in the beginning of your title, which is the focus keyword, and this keyword also is the name page now of your listing, you want to make sure that that keyword also is in the first 155 characters, which is the meta description. And this is an off-page SEO factor. And when people find you on Google, they get shown this little snippet right here. And right now, you don't have it optimized for SEO. So you want to make sure that not only do you have your main keyword here, but you also want to have it in your meta description. And your meta description should be something that's enticing to make somebody want to click to learn more about your products. So it should be a short description of what you're selling. It should have your focus keyword, and it should have some sort of call to action. And call to action is click to learn more, or click to get yours today, or click to buy now. That's basically you redirecting the buyer through the journey of buying from you. And you're telling them what action you want them to take next. And by you adding that call to action, it actually increases your click-through rate. And if the buyer goes to your store and they engage with your store and they start looking at your other listings, it's a higher probability that they'll go ahead and buy from you. So fixing your meta description is a plus, it's a need, or is something that you have to do, because it's how you get found through the search results. And if you don't have your SEO done correctly, you won't get traffic. It doesn't matter how amazing your photos are. It doesn't matter how amazing maybe your listing description is. If it's not optimized for SEO, you won't get the visibility that you want in order to get more sales. So that's the first thing you want to do. Secondly, you want to make sure that your title it has keywords, right? So it's optimized for SEO, but you want to make sure that's user-friendly for the customer. When they're reading the title, you don't want to confuse them by having too many keywords, which now is called keyword stuffing. It's something that Etsy doesn't want us to do anymore. It's something that I'm updating all of my listings as well. I highly recommend doing so because Etsy does frown upon keyword stuffing, which you're doing a little bit right now. And this is your listing description. I think you did a really great job with it. You have it broken down into sections. It's very easy to read. If I was to read this, I wouldn't be confused. So you did an excellent job. The only thing that you're missing is optimizing it for SEO. You have not optimized it. So you have to make sure that the first 155 characters has your meta description. And then on your listing description, you actually have additional tags that you want to rank for. I personally say try to add as many tags or all of them if you can. But if you can't add all of them, make sure that you add as many as you can, because the more tags that you add and the more context that you add to your listing description, the easier it is for the search results in the algorithm to understand what your page, what this particular page is all about. So that's an SEO on page factor that you're currently not doing. And it's a huge one because that's what drives you traffic. That's how you rank on Etsy. That's how the algorithm knows what your page is about, what you sell in your store. So you definitely want to fix that. In addition to that, what I would do is at the end, I would put, please visit our homepage here, and then maybe have another link where you send them to your maybe similar products or matching items. The reason why you want to add backlinks down here is because what you don't want the customer to do is finish reading this, keep going down, and now they're looking at your competitors. You want to keep them in your actual store. So in order to do so, one recommendation that I recommend is adding backlinks. That way they click, they head to your store, right? They stay engaged in your store, and they don't get, they don't go down here and start browsing through other people's store, and then you lose them forever. So that's another strategy that you could start implementing in all of your listings. I wouldn't do more than 2 links. So your home link and then something similar or matching. And don't forget also to add your email link in the actual listing description. So if you have a blog, you could create a landing page where you would collect emails. If you don't have a blog at the current moment, the email provider that I'm sending you or leaving right below this video, you could actually create a landing page without having a blog to still collect emails. So either way, you're good, but just make sure whatever link you're going to be using, that you add it in your listing description, as well as your shop announcement, like I mentioned earlier, and anywhere else that you promote your products and services, whether it's on Etsy or outside of Etsy, like social media, your website, your blog, and other places. So those will be my recommendation for your listing. I'm going to look at your tags really quick to kind of give you some recommendations there as well. So I'm using eRank Pro, is the paid version, in case it does look a little bit different to you guys. And looking at your tags earlier today, one thing I noticed is that you're using a lot of tags that are, 1, very competitive, 2, very broad terms, and those one really help you a lot. If it's like logo is a good keyword, however, because there's so much competition on Etsy, is not really helping you drive traffic to your store. Unless you became a bestseller for that particular tag, if you became a bestseller, then you'll be placed in the first or second page of Etsy. However, if your listing is not a bestseller, you're going to be drowning in the search feed. So right now, logo has 565,000 people using the same tag. So organically, you're not going to rank for that keyword. And if you were to do an Etsy ad, your cost per click is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be 71 cents per click. That means that if your budget is $1 per day, after 1 click, you're almost done with your budget, basically. So that's why a lot of people spend more money than they make, because they're using tags that are very competitive. Another thing you want to stay away from is tags that are very broad. You have one here that says people. If I was looking for a logo, I wouldn't type in the word people. So when you're doing keyword research, you have to think about, okay, my ideal customer, what would they type in the search results to find my product and service. I don't necessarily think people is a word that I will particularly search for when I'm doing a logo or when I'm searching for a logo. Maybe I will do custom logo for with people, right? Maybe something like that makes more sense. However, just the word people by itself is too broad. You're showing your products now to anybody and everyone, so you're not really showing it to people that are searching with an intent to buy your product. Look at the word people. Look how many people have that particular tag, 650,000. So it's not only a tag that's very broad, that doesn't really meet your target customer. In addition to that, it's a keyword that's very competitive. So when you use keywords that are very broad, even if they're not competitive, what happens now is that it hurts your conversion rates. If a lot of people see your listing, but no one buys, Etsy will give your listing is called a listing quality score. And if everybody buys your listing, then you get a bestseller. If no one's buying and a lot of people are seeing it, then what happens now is that your listing goes lower, and now that particular listing gets pushed down in the search feed. That's how they decide which listings are going to show up on the first page and which listings are going to show up on the 30th page. That's how they do it. And the easiest way to make sure that you don't go to the 30th page is that as soon as you update a listing, you want to make sure that that listing is optimized correctly. Because if it's not optimized correctly with SEO, and no one's interacting and no one is buying, guess what happens? It hurts your conversion rate. It hurts your quality listing score, and then your listing places lower in the search feed. And this is why many people open their stores. They have a lot of new listings. They never optimize their store correctly for SEO, and they never got a good quality listing score. Why? Because they didn't optimize their listing. This is exactly what's happening to you right now. So you definitely want to make sure that every single listing you have, you go back and you optimize it correctly for SEO. Once again, you stay away from keywords that are too broad, keywords that are too competitive. Competitive to me is 30,000 or more. That's too competitive. You won't even rank organically for them. So you want to stay away from 30,000 from 50,000 or more for sure, but 30,000 or more. And you want a monthly search volume. These are really good here, but the issue is the competition. So these are not even good for you, especially this one here. So what you want to make sure that you do is that you find keywords that have an average search volume of 500 or more with a competition of 30,000 or less. That's the sweet spot that I have found that works really well for my stores, that has worked really well for other people. But you definitely will need to do a lot of research. Logo designing is one of those things on Etsy that's very popular. It's not oversaturated like digital planners, but it's getting to that point. So you will have to work a little bit harder trying to find tags that you could rank for. And if for whatever reason you're in a niche that no matter what you do, you cannot find tags that you could potentially rank for, what that means is that you're in a very saturated market and you will need to work twice as harder to grow your brand. It doesn't mean that you cannot make it happen. It just means that you will have to have email marketing in place. You will have to have your branding in place so you could separate yourself from everyone else. You will need a logo. You will need fonts. You will need to have a certain amount of colors that you don't deviate from for your brand. You will need to have a website to build authority for your Etsy store by having backlinks pointing to your store. This is another SEO factor that Etsy recommends, which really works. And you will have to have social media to kind of grow your brand. You will need to work a little bit more in order to kind of get ahead of the competition. So just keep that in mind. Whenever you are in a competitive niche, you tend to work like twice as much as if you had something that was very different that no one else was selling. And your pictures have to be remarkable, and you really have to work to separate yourself from everyone else. But I think the biggest takeaway from your store is making sure that all the making sure that you have a picture, a profile picture, making sure that you have email marketing, making sure that you optimize your store for SEO the correct way, and also making sure that your photos look amazing. I think if you start there and you fix that, especially because you only have 9 listings, it shouldn't take you too long. Once you do that, then building a brand and then working to build that brand. That will be the ultimate goal, to kind of get you out there and win a competitive niche. So I hope this critique helps you out. Guys, if you have any questions about anything that I mentioned on this video, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer everyone's questions. And thank you guys for watching.